Hi everybody, it's Donna from Purple Pinky Promises, and I'm back with a double project this week since I missed you last week with a project I'm going to bring you two, a masculine and a feminine card. So here we are. We're going to start out with this paper from Catherine Pooler Designs. It's a 12 by 12 pattern paper mix. It's called Free Spirit. And I'll talk to you just a little bit more in detail about that later, but here we are lining up all of our pieces for the first card. And we are using the Hayley alphabet dies from Sunny Studio, the upper and lower case. We're going to use some Zen Garden mini inks. We're going to specifically use the Spruce. And then we're going to use this Spellbinders stamp set. It's called Just Wanted to Say Sentiments. And as you can see here, this 12 by 12 pattern paper pack has pattern on one side and it is white on the other. So it is perfect for you to use a card base, and you can get a different look and different design and feel for it, having both the front and the back with that pattern paper. Just something different. So here I am lining up my white cardstock. I thought, well, I've got a lot of patterns going on in this card, so I wanted to break up those patterns and use something to frame it with. And I will have the measurements for this. If you are watching this on YouTube, it'll be in the description below. And if you're watching this on Facebook, it is in the description up above. So we're going to start out with these layers. And I love this piece right here. It looks like mint chocolate chip ice cream. Can you tell I'm hungry? Okay, so this is the piece that's going to have our sentiment and our butterfly on it. And so, but first I'm going to stamp up these sentiments. Both sentiments come from Just Wanted to Say from the Spellbinders stamp set. And I'm going to stamp both of these sentiments and cut them into strips and use them on our project. So once again, I'm using the mini Spruce, specifically using Spruce. I do have that in the store in a regular ink pad size, but I thought, I'll just grab the mini. It's easier. And there it is. It's from the Spa collection. Those minis are nice and handy to take around with you when you're going to crops and whatnot. Okay, I didn't have any of my brown ink with me here at home, so I had some of this Distress ink in my stash. And this is the Ground Espresso. So because it is a regular Distress ink, I had to stamp it up a few times to get it good and crisp. Using a stamp platform helps to be able to get back in the same spot each time. All right, yay, there it is. So I'm going to grab a piece of this cardstock, and I am just going to ink up a swath, I guess, or swatch or whatever of this Spruce. And then I'm going to use, well, I'm going to give it some time to dry, and then I'm going to put my alphas on it and die cut that word lucky. So we're going to cut up our sentiment and give it some more interest. Make it look a little bit different. Sometimes it's nice to mix things up. It adds a little interest to your projects. So run that through the die cut machine. Pop these out. And of course, I didn't have any kind of poker with me. So yep, these cutter bees are so sharp to the point that you can actually use them as a poker on your dies. Okay, and I'm sorry for all the background noise over here, folks. I have tried to get this recorded several times, and I have not had very good luck this week, being that it's, St. Patrick's Day coming up. And that is actually the reason I picked this project to do this project, to kind of celebrate for this week. And now, as you can see, I am cutting out this butterfly. And on this one, I don't want an edge around my butterfly except for those antennas. Those antennas are the thing that I want to be perfect, because this is going to be a double layered butterfly. I'm going to cut out another butterfly here in a second, and it's going to be the top one. So then that's the one I'm going to focus more on the outside edges of the butterfly. This one is the inside, and I don't want it to have much of an edge. I want it to be closer to the actual design of that butterfly. So I'm actually going to cut the antennas off this one. And we're just going to move it around the edges as nice and crisp as possible. Doing that fussy cutting, you move your butterfly and not your scissors. That's how you get a nice fussy cut. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this up on some dimension in between those layers. And yeah, I'm cutting it a little closer because I don't want that really to show. That's the second layer. And here we go. We're going to get this lined up here. And so when you lay it down, you can actually see that it has a pattern behind it, which is really pretty. I like that look. It's going to go up in the corner when it's ready to lay down. And so here we are. I'm going to take the sentiment and cut it up and give it a different look. And folks, when you get bored with your sentiments, it's nice to have a set of alphas. So when you have a set of alphas, you can mix and match your sentiments and do all kinds of fun things with your cards and your scrapbook layouts with a nice set of alphas. I actually think having alphas in different fonts and to go with your different looks is a great thing to have in your craft stash. So here we go. And don't forget, you can always cut those sentiments up to create a different message on the front of your card. And what I was doing earlier, I was just trying to determine whether or not I wanted it straight on there. But I decided that there were so many patterns going on. It was best to have a background for this word that's really I felt like, and I really wanted it to pop off the page. So I went ahead and decided I was going to glue this onto a strip to the front of the card. I love this glue. You can get a small bit of this glue out whenever you're trying to work in small spaces. I love it. The fine tip is perfect. Now I do want to talk to you a little bit about this paper. This paper actually has a little, mini twin. And some of the papers that are in the 12 by 12 are not in the 6 by 6, and some of the papers that are in the 6 by 6 are not in the 12 by 12. But there is a little mini twin with this set, and it is called Painted Butterflies. So you might check that out. I did put it in the description, and there is a link to the store for that small 6 by 6 pack. I just wanted to showcase this 12 by 12 because some of us are scrapbookers and card makers both. And it's okay to use your scrapbook papers for your cards when you're having a hard time deciding. But sometimes it's nice to have both, right? Okay. So this sentiment is going to go all the way to the edge on that last layer and right in the center to the right. And there it is. So now I'm ready to get my butterfly on there, and I didn't need glue at the top edges of that butterfly. It's kind of funny. I wiped that off. I may have to grab my embossing powder tool so that it doesn't stick at some point. Sweep it underneath there and all will be well. Yeah, trying to get that glue out. Okay, so now we have the main thing, the main part of my card front that I really wanted to, the main vision of my card front. So I thought I would use these strips as wide as they were. I changed my mind because I felt like that's too much white space. I felt like it kind of took away from the word lucky. So I didn't want that. And now I am happy with the way that looks on that front. The word lucky really pops. I felt like too much white drowned it out. I also wanted to put some sequins on here, but again, we've got so many patterns going on this card. The sequins kind of got lost. They just really didn't have as much pop that I really wanted. So I tried the sequins, and honestly, what I ended up with was just a few there on the butterfly, and that was just enough. It was perfect. I didn't need any more, and I didn't need any less. It was great. It worked out just fine. Plus, that top sequin kind of offers a nice little transition from the top layer to the underneath of those antennas. And now this card is complete. And we'll move on to our second card. And I have done the same thing on that second card that's coming up. I've used a card base from the 12 by 12 in which the inside of it is white and the outside of it is a pattern paper on both the front and the back. And yes, I'm zhuzhing this up just a little bit before we move on to the next card. All right, here it is. I love those stripes. And I love how where I cut that off made it look like it's a little bit like it's gradiating. And I kind of like that look. So this strip, I have a measurement for it in the description. Just know that strip has been cut down, and I cut down probably about 1/2 inch. I ended up cutting off about 1/2 inch. Now, I do want to mention that the leaves that you see here that have been cut, I fussy cut those from that pattern paper that you see on the left. We used that pattern paper on the first card. Do you recognize that from the card base? And that circle that you see with the little stitches in it, the yellow and white polka dots, that is actually a circle from a Newton's Nook circle set. That set is called Circle Frames Die. It does have stitching on it. It is about 2 inches in diameter. Okay, so here we go. I want to give you a little tip, something that I learned after the fact. Here's what I did. So watch here what I do. I put on my dimensions so that I can create a little spot where I know that's about as far as I want to go. It's like a little stopper. To me, it was the stopper to tell me how far I wanted to go onto the circle for that sentiment. And it also measured up to the edge of my strip that I put on the card front. But honestly, folks, what I should have done, and you'll see here why, I should have actually taken a piece of washi tape and held it on the back side. Then I wouldn't have lost my sentiment spot, because every time I took that sentiment off, I lost my place. And you'll see, you'll watch it in action. I seemed to have trouble finding where and how that sentiment needs to lay on there. So I have such a precise way of laying things down and layering things. I hold it and glue it. And you see that little leaf drop. It happens to me again. It happens to me several times where I just kind of lose my place. And so taping that sentiment would actually work best. I tried. It's not such a bad idea to use the, see, here I am trying to find my spot. Now, where was that? It looked so perfect. How did it look? Oh, there it is. But then I lose it again. And I really liked the way I had this laying on there with this little piece that popped up over the sentiment. It just looked so cute, but I lost it again. It moved, and I didn't pay attention to the fact that it had moved. But if my sentiment had already been on there, that I feel would not have happened. So I'm not happy with the way those leaves look, and I feel like I need more to kind of fill in gaps, and it just needed to be a little more full. So we're going to fussy cut some more leaves, throw them in there. And I'm still thinking, okay, that looks better, but it still needs more. So we're going to put in more. One more set of leaves fills it out and makes it look perfect. So this is when I decide I'm going to commit this on here because I'm done fighting with it. Okay, this is probably a good time for me to tell you that I have put a link in the description to some of the foam squares, the foam adhesive squares. These are some Stampin' Up! Square adhesive dimensions that I've had in my stash here at home. I keep a little bit of stuff here, and then of course I use stuff at the store as well, but it's nice to have things in both places. Okay, these sequins. These are Seattle sequins from Catherine Pooler Designs. And I don't think I mentioned that the sequins on the previous card are actually Zermatt. And I think I've pronounced that right. Forgive me if I haven't. I try really hard to pronounce things right, but sometimes I just don't make it. And these sequins that I pulled out from this mix are such a nice... this is a weird way to describe a color, but it's a mustardy bronze, and it just really is a pretty color. It just pulls all those colors together, those warm colors. I love it. It's not an exact match, but it just is a beautiful blend. All right, this card's complete. Yay! Now let's take a look at both of these cards one more time. They look pretty together. A match made in heaven. So, thanks you guys. I do want to tell you that next week, as a reminder, that we will not be here on a live or on a project upload. We are busy with a shop hop that we're participating in. So thanks you guys. I certainly appreciate all your support. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day and a blessed rest of your week. Take care. Bye-bye.